Hello and welcome to this week's edition of the SRC podcast. Joining me, Big M, as always, the one and only Double R, Mr. Rob Reese. And it seems we have a new boy this week with us. What did you say? Joan Harris?
Jonah Harris.
Jonah Harris. Welcome to the pod. Good evening, gentlemen. How are we?
Oh,
Yeah,
good.
good. Nice to meet you, boys.
Nice to meet you. We're only playing. We're only playing. We know who you are, Bookie. We know who you are. Okay, so you listeners obviously don't know this, but we've just spent about half hour ranting and raving off air, as we like to say. So let's dive into some rugby. And as always, we will start with that Thursday night game. Not much really happened. Okay, on to the next game. Yeah. It's a hard one for Quins. We had some fun last week, me and you, Rob, battling it out. But fair dues, you just had way too much in the end. It was a good battle for 60, 65 minutes. Christ. Like I said to you over text, there was that moment. Obviously, this Quinn scrum was getting mullered all game, and then there was that one moment where they've actually managed to get on top of the Ebu one, got the penalty, kick to the corner, and that was the moment. If we could have scored from that moment in the game, I do feel then it would have been anybody's that could come with that. But the moment that didn't come through, it was just done and dusted. Like the scoreline, obviously 38-6. So I'm not going to say it flatters, because for that last 15 minutes, you were well worth those what was it, 3 extra scores. But 14-6 at halftime, that first half, it was such a good arm wrestle, one hell of a tussle. The kick-in battle between Ellis Price, Evan Lloyd, and Dorian Jones. Oh, like some people don't like it. You hear commentators, oh, it's kick tennis, oh, it's this. It's not that. You're finding gaps in your opposition defense. You're moving the players around. You're trying to create space through finding grass and putting players on different wings or fullbacks in different places. It was brilliant to watch, and some of the kicks were just absolutely amazing. And it just goes to show you don't have to play. It doesn't have to be all this fancy, high pace, 2-second rucks, champagne style rugby. To see a good game of rugby, it was a totally different style, one that we are more used to up here in the northern, and it was just great to see. Great to see that we're still producing these types of games. So I'll let you just run away with your glortatiousness.
Yeah, it's a difficult game to call, because as you say, the 32 points is probably both fair, but also doesn't tell a true reflection of the game and how it sort of flowed. As you say, for the hour, it was often scrappy. There was quite a few errors, and I think it was literally that. I think the set piece let Quins down. I don't think the line out functioned anywhere near as good as it could have. And I said the scrum was well behind, but it was that Ebu set piece and stoic defence that just laid the platform, and they struggled to get that third try, and that's where they felt that it was just a scrappy game. It was like you go up, mistake, Quins exit, all stuff like that. Um, but once they got that third try, it was like they just had that, the afterburners turned on and stuff like that. And I think that's the difference between the two sides this year. Is we've said about Quins not picking up the bonus points. Obviously, they couldn't get it. They couldn't get over the whitewash in this game, but they didn't push on in that last 20. And as you say, when they had the one scrum that they annihilated Ebu at one scrum all game. Everything else was probably 90% Ebu, 9% equal scrum, and then that one scrum all game that they've won, not against the head, but really shoved Ebu back and obliterated the pack and couldn't go over. It's just sort of typifies, I think, Quins' season to date. They're not quite finishing teams when they need to. I found Tom Phillips' interview afterwards quite interesting, around how they wanted to stop the maul, and how they felt they did enough to stop them all, but how Ebu sort of moved away from that. Obviously, two tries for the wingers, one each. And the term he used was humbled. And that's quite an interesting term. Do you hear someone speak about their own side in that sort of sense? But it's probably a very good explanation of where Quins are. Is their pack has been very good against everybody this year, but have they just come up against a pack for the first time this season that's next level? And I feel that's probably where they took it away from them, was just that constant up front, the power game. And I called it on the pod. I think we said up front is going to be a very good battle. The backs maybe just in Ebu's favour with the Scarlets call-ups that we saw for Quins, but the bench was bare for the visitors. And it did tell, unfortunately. That last 20 minutes, really does just ease it in. And that's, as you say, where you go from having a 2-score game and you're looking at a 4-point win within the next 10 minutes is a 6-point win, and Quins don't even look like they're anywhere close.
No, it was quite a drastic turnaround, but you can't say, I can't even say it wasn't coming either. They barring that one moment where we've mentioned with the Quins scrum getting on top and having a proper go at the line, Quins didn't fire any real shots. There was, one set play, I think, early in the first half where an inside ball just didn't go to hand. There was the space there, but the pass, I don't know if it was the pass or if the man just wasn't, in the right space, but that was it. And that was more or less all we saw from the Quins in terms of, attacking from proper open play. Looking to use maybe a set move or looking to use a backs move. And, when you lose your starting 12, and okay, Yori Badham, he's only been back for a handful of games, but if anyone does watch the URC as well as SRC rugby, and you caught that Scarlets game, you'll know how good of a player that he is just from that, and you do feel these boys, when they do move up, even if it is for a week or two, once they've once they're in the reckoning, like Harry Reese Weldon is someone that I would, use in this exact same vein. If he's in that Ebu team 6-7 weeks and then he pops out, whilst you've got someone there that will do the job, you do feel that dip. You'll always have it, and that's just what I think Quins felt in the back line. We just, and I don't really know what could have been done. A bit of extra rotation beforehand, maybe having some different combinations, but then you're missing out on consistency. So yeah, some hard lessons to take. I do feel that outside of set piece, the forward battle, especially in the ruck, the contact area, was very even. Like you said, it was scrappy, and it was down to each other, given the absolute best, having a proper scruffle and fight. Line out to the scrum, yeah, clearly lost, but defending that maul, Quinn's done a really good job. I think it was at least 3 or 4 mauls, quite, within the 22 in that red zone that was stopped. So, credit does need to go there. They have worked hard on that bit, but they probably needed to focus on other areas, unfortunately, which didn't lead to that. But there we are. Nice 6-pointer for Ebu. John, did you catch the mask? You got any touching words that we haven't left on? I know it's been a while since we've spoken.
No, I wasn't able to catch it live. And to be honest, I got to play my, I got to play it smart when it's a Thursday night SRC game with the kids at home and everything. If I'm lucky, if I get to watch the Aberravon game, so I didn't get to catch it live, but I was hoping to, because Quins have probably been, well, the two sides actually, I think this year have been the most impressive. Bouvaille with just how they've been, without praising Rob too much, bulldozing the league so far, which they have been. And Quins are easily the most improved side in the league. So I was looking forward to it, but I think I was expecting a little bit more from that Quins pack, but of course they did have players missing. But that Bouvaille pack is, as we were talking before we come on, it's head and shoulders at the moment. They're they've pretty much dominated everyone they've come up against. So I don't think, no, there's no slight on Quins to have come off second best against this Ebervale pack. But I think Ebervale have also got that extra gear then that they can go into when you get to that 60-minute mark and you need to, it's like, all right, we need to step it up a notch here. This is, Quinn's been in it for an hour, now we need to move up the gears. And I think Ebervale have just got that extra bit that they can call upon. So, and they've been ruthless in it, but like I say, it's not another week where Ian Morris scores 4 tries, or at least, they've mixed it up a bit, but all right, a penalty try as well, because that was impressive as well. That scrum penalty try was so well done. Because Quins are no mugs when it comes to scrum time, so it's really impressive. And they've just been ruthless in that last 20 minutes. No, they haven't even emptied the bench until the last 10 minutes, and they've already turned the game around without having to empty the bench either. So that's just come on and just put the final nail in the coffin. So great. It's hard to see who's going to stop Ebervale this season, really. The only ones I can think of really is Llantyfri, because Llantyfri know how to win one-off, playoff and knockout games, as Ebervale know from last year. But this is an improved Ebervale. So,
yeah. Well, I think Llantyfri will know what to do when that time comes, as long as they keep 15 men on the pitch. Corey, we haven't forgiven you. You're gonna have to play a good few games before we get past this one. Okay. Yeah, 38-6, everyone. Well done. Move on. We'll stick with you then, John. You don't get to Aberafan away games very often. So a trip up to Church Bank, daunting enough as it is, but it looked to be going all right at halftime. It was solid enough. 12-7, very much in the game. What did you make of this one then? Because I beforehand, obviously, we always said, Drovers at home, they're going to be a tough one to, even break down and, get away with any sort of points. But I did think that, you were looking to leave this place with some match points, and that's how it seemed to be, right up until, that last chunk of minutes, again, as we just referred to in the last game.
Yeah, I think that's what disappointed me a little bit for this one was, I think that the boys would have expected as well, maybe not expected, but at least thought they should come away with something, at least a point from that game, because they've been finding some good form. Right, the Quins at home result would have hurt them, but they did have quite a few boys missing for that one, which I didn't get to say at the time because I weren't there, but they did. Stupid rearranged fixtures catching people out, but yeah, and it's just, I think it's just Llantyfri as well, showing their intelligence and their nous and how to win these games and put them away properly. Just taking that penalty at the end just to make sure they get the 6-pointer out of it. But yeah, I think another team, especially on their home patch, where if when things start getting tight, they got another gear in reserve they can dig something out from. But I am disappointed with this one, because this is probably, if I'd been on last week, I probably would have said we'd come away with maybe at least 2 points out of that. I would have thought. I thought we would have kept it close and probably scored 4 tries, especially on that Llantyfri pitch. But it's Llantyfri showing their class again, because they are going to be up there in that top. I expect them to be top 2 by the end of the season. Llantyfri. It's a shame for us, because it has dropped us down, because that middle pack I say middle pack, anyone from bloody third down now, third to bottom, is going to be...
Don't go bringing Quins into this now. Fourth down.
Yeah, but it takes a week and you could be 6th. So that's just how close this league is. So yeah, I think they'll have to regroup. They'll watch it all. Obviously, they'll figure out where they've gone wrong in this, and we're shipping too many points. We've said this about other teams in the league as well, but we are for what seems to. It's weird, because we've had a new defence coach last year who's come in, and the tackling seems to be a lot more aggressive and a lot more dominant tackles, but they also seem to be missing important tackles, which are then leading to crucial tries being scored, which then just get the other team away from us in really important parts of the game. So that's what we really need to work on, is weathering the storms when the other teams are having their purple patches and really keeping them out. So there'll be plenty for them to work on, and they've got a home game next. Nice, easy one. But, Llandovery will be, if they've done their job there, home game, 6 points. Great for them.
Happy days, Sam. Yeah, it was a bit of a weird one, and a fair bit of anger actually came from me over this one, because on a week where we saw Quins lose a fair few boys to the Scarlets, Drovers actually managed to get some back with Harry Thomas and Josh Morse, who wasn't actually due to be playing. So yeah, I was rather annoyed at that personally. But, seeing an all, a Scarlet Academy front row, when Gabe Hawley's played pro rugby, Harry Thomas has obviously played pro rugby, Josh Morse, he's been rated so highly, and we've seen him dominate some of the best tight ends in this league over the last few years. When you see those three coming up with each other, it's going to be in for a hard day. The fair plays to Abravan, you stuck in for a long time. Rob, chime in on this one a bit.
Yeah, I felt this was going to be one of those games. As John said, about 2 points for Abravan, a high scoring game. But it just feels that you do have that bit of an extra gear at the moment with certain teams. And it was a stronger Llandovery side than we was expecting to be named. And I think that's probably factored in the different, in the sort of the score lines that we were perhaps estimating to see. But as you say, it's keeping in games at the right moments, not allowing teams to pull away, because you very rarely see penalties struck in games at the moment, because either the gap is too big or teams are going for the bonus point. They're kicking for touch, going and going and going. But when you see these sort of teams go to places like Llandovery, you've got to be tip-top shape, and your defensive structure's got to be spot on, because ultimately you don't want to rely on scoring 31 points. You just can't. It's as good as an Abravan pack is not as good as the Llandovery pack, and I think Abravan's backs are better than their pack, but again, Llandovery are balancing that out, so it's not even like you're leveraging weight on sort of your backs or your pack over the opposition. And yeah, like I said, it feels a harsh result because of, like I said, it bumps them all the way down to 7th now. But they're only 8 points off 3rd. So
yeah, unbelievably tight league, as we came to expect after last season. So 30 points to 14 win for Llandovery, the full 6 points. Now, 2 games left to have a little chat over, and we had a nice Gwent derby that we'll come to, but we had the City v City as Swansea travelled to Cap, and this has got to be up there for contender of game of the week. This one, and I think I don't know who else I want to throw in against them, but this was just something beautiful, because Swansea, it was 21-5. Cardiff led at halftime, but despite that, Swansea were in control for a good 20-25 minutes of that first half. They really kept Cardiff pinned down in their own half, kept turning them with some really nice kicks. But it's what we come to expect with Josh Phillips, and it's something we're learning, that big fullback has got a very big boot as well in Lewis Edwards. And to see Cardiff just fire away 3 tries and come at 21-5 at half time, you just start thinking, well, this is the same old story. They're on their home patch. The backs have started moving, or in this case, was it Alan Rees getting a couple of tries? They've got them all working. But second half, and a completely different story. It's there for comeback of the season. As it goes, they will be.
But to put it all into context, 100%.
Yeah, at Cap, 2 scores down, and just to nil Cardiff on their own patch in the second half. That's an achievement on itself. But to come away with a win after that deficit is just perfectly brilliant. And the news we've had, quite recently with that Jonathan Thomas's health hasn't been the greatest, and he's actually stepped down from his head coach position at Swansea. It just goes to show, the resolve in these players. There's been quite a tumultuous time. These last, 6 months, one coaching team out, new one in, head coach been missing a little bit. Now he's had to go. Obviously he had his brain injuries the concussion side of things during his playing career. So obviously you can't be risking stuff like that. You know what I mean? So 100% understand, and hopefully we'll bring some coaching team news about Swansea to you soon enough. But to just turn it around, and what's his name? Is it? I don't want to say his name is Ellis. That's the one. Ellis Lewis, the replacement scrum half, barely any minutes in this league. He's come on and he's just bagged 2 tries from nothing. He's just popped up in the right place and he's got him over the line. Brilliant for the league. I love it. Like, I'm not anti-Cardiff. I'm really not, but I love it anytime someone beats Cardiff. It just puts a smile on my face. I don't know why. I'm going to say that I'm not anti-Cardiff, but watching Cardiff lose brings a smile to my face. Rob, let's go, Rob. Go on, give us some real analysis now, not some weird guy droning on.
Yeah, do you know what I said at halftime? This was looking similar to the Aberravon game they played down there, where the game can be.
I knew that was going to get thrown in, but then
the game can be very close at cap, and their biggest weapon is quick fire tries. They can hit you 2-3 scores very quickly, take the game away from you. Like I said, right before half time, you're going, well, that's it now. It's a 2-score game, whatever. You go in, a 3-score game. You're going, how would you come back from this now? What are you going to do on their patch? Swansea don't play on a plastic pitch either, so you've got that is technically against you. But it's like blitz offense, and 19 points in 6 minutes is practically unheard of in any game. Any game that's competitive, any game that finishes 3 points adrift of each other. I can't remember a side doing that. So to do it so late on, and the rugby was top quality as well, and that just goes to show what it takes. It wasn't like Cardiff fell apart and there was some sloppy stuff and there was a couple of yellow cards or red cards late on that allowed Swansea in. It was top class rugby. Just put it through the hands and just trust your instincts, and that's what Swansea very much seem like a side that they like doing at the moment, with especially with the backline that they have, is play instinct rugby. Put it through the hands, we'll see what happens. It's a bit of a risk reward, don't get me wrong, but they're now within 2 points of a top 4 spot, which is your home quarter-final guaranteed. It's 2 points off Cardiff, so they've closed that gap directly, and they fucked my predictions up because I had all of the other fights up until this point.
Yeah.
So but I gotta say it is good for the league. That we're having everybody starting to beat each other. And like I said, Aberravon have dropped a load of spaces. Swansea gained a load of spaces. All of a sudden, this league is incredible. If Pontypool and Bridgend start picking up as well on the bottom, this really is going to be so unpredictable come the end of the season, because people can complain all they want, but the playoffs are really making this interesting. Everyone's fighting to get up to that bottom 4, get into the top 4. All of these, your home games, your away games, can you get that extra game at home? So, it's good to see Swansea back to winning ways as well. They did that sort of the run of 3 games, including the double over Newport, who hadn't won at that stage, right? But you felt that they had a bit of momentum about them, and that they were starting to look at a side that were improved on last season. Then they went back on another losing streak, and you're going, was it just a bit of a fad? Were Newport really that bad? And that's what sort of contributed. But no, it's fantastic to see. And I think Josh Phillips is playing really well again this season, and he's orchestrating a lot of this.
He's a player anyone anyone who's followed the top end of the game has known for quite a while now, and he just does things that they're just beautiful to watch. You absolutely love it. I mean, talk about Swansea being a better side than last season. We're only halfway through the season, and it is now impossible for them to lose, 14 games, which is what they ended up with last season. So,
Yeah. They've already won the same games they won last year.
Yeah. And they've got that draw as well. So it's taken them over the threshold. So, well done to them. So 24-21 now and finished in Swansea's favour. So final game is a nice little Gwent derby. And let me just make sure these teams are the right way around. We had Newport travelling to Pontypool. Now, it was one Gwent derby that got Newport's season up and running. Obviously, putting Ebu Vale in their place, so to speak, as one does when they need it. And it seemed that this was a time that Pontypool really could have done with the exact same thing, because was it 1-3, lost 5 going into this one. It really wasn't great looking for them. So 14-10 up at halftime, they were really happy. So I'll bounce back to Rob, see how Gwent. I will come to you, John. I'm not going to talk anymore about this one. Yep. So what happened? What happened in that second half then, Rob? What did Pontypool, finally turn a bit of form around and get another win?
Do you know what? I think this is it was a proper Gwent derby. It was scrappy at times, a lot of fire in this one. And I think Pontypool will be kicking themselves. Like I said, they had the game by the scruff of the neck, so to speak. And throughout the game, they turned down 9 points at goal to kick the touch. Now, when you consider the game finished 10 points apart, it wouldn't have affected the result if they kicked them all. But it's about the momentum. It's about stunting Newport's attack and how you keep your momentum going and keeping the scoreboard ticking, which I think is crucial in these sort of games, especially when you're in a situation like Pontypool, you're struggling for wins. Pooler Park isn't a fortress either. We've seen sides go there and win. So, Aberafon have picked up the win there this season. RGC has picked up a win there. So, they are struggling to get that bit of momentum. So, you've got to take your opportunities. And again, the front row is the issue here, I think, is again, they haven't had a great season there. Midfield's the same, and there's these combos that we keep on about, but is people like Scott Matthews, again, superb, absolutely everywhere. But you can't be relying on an individual. You need your unit, because that's what Newport have been doing well, is they've been playing well as a unit all of a sudden. They've been using their combinations, gelling as a team, and that's how they started picking up points. So this isn't a case of Newport have blown them away or Newport have strangled them. Pontypool have far many opportunities to take this game, not just get into it, but actually win this game. The scrum was a lot better when the two props changed in the second half, but the line out has absolutely killed them throughout the game. So that's going to be a worry, and that's something that Dale McIntosh, who's now involved as Tom Hancock's right-hand man, is certainly going to be involved in. I know Kieran Meek spoke about him a bit after the game, and he's just trying to get a bit of fire in Pontypool, and I think that's what they need. Pontypool needs to be an ugly place to go. I don't think there's ever been a Pontypool side where you're looking and going, oh yeah, these are playing really lovely rugby. Is that pitch throughout the year? Is that grunt up front? Filling the Welsh side with forwards, however far you want to go back. And I think Chief will add that nasty bastard to him, sort of thing up front. You've got to have it. Like, Morgan Allen was non-existent this week. Like, he's having such a strange year. And he's like a character that last year, it doesn't matter whether he was starting, whether he was off the bench. One game, a couple of seasons ago, he was running late for a Thursday game, was due to start. They put him on the bench and he still had a barnstorm after turning up late from work. He was stuck in traffic. But yeah, I think Newport got on top here and used their tactical kicking very well. The wingers were superb. Kicking up the hand at 10 is again putting them under pressure. So it'd be interesting to see how again, I mentioned about Shea Hope and how he was going to be playing on throughout this season, and obviously he's moved out of the team for this week. But how often Jack Lloyd stays in this team, especially as we see the Dragons come under a bit of pressure now in the coming months.
So obviously Pontypool 14-10 at half time. They lose that second half 17-3. I mean, John, what did Newport do so well then to just get on top? And because there's some unfamiliar names really scoring for them, in terms of the SRC. You got Hunter Ward, Noah Morgan. We haven't seen a great deal of these players. Obviously, I believe Noah's for early academy boy coming in now this season. So that's 4 games on the trot now for Newport.
4 on a bounce now for Newport. Looks like they're finding remembering who they are from last year a bit. They've started. It's like they've had pre-season first, and then remembered, the season have started, so we better get cracking with this. Because the way the Newport started this season, they're the form team in the league now at the moment with 4 wins on the bounce. Pontypool are going to be. They're going to be scratching their heads a bit, I think, and really disappointed knowing the fortress this place was last year. That's what's that, 3-4 losses at home now this year.
Too many.
Possibly, yeah. They won't be happy with that. They set much higher standards at home than that. But I think this, Jack Lloyd's had another great to have him back playing as well and just running the show. He's just class, isn't he? But again, we're talking about. I know we've said it twice already in this episode, but Newport are another one of those teams that they can go up a gear when they need to, and they didn't at the start of the season, mind. So, not saying this has been there all year, but something's clicked for them since they've got that first win, and now they are building on it week on week, and they get this. No, it's not away wins as well at tough places, and it's as if they've woke up and go, oh yeah, we're fucking Newport, we're the reigning champions of this league. What are we doing? Let's sort our heads out and get back to doing what we do. Bragging rights as always. I think that always brings more out for these games. But if you're Pontypool, you're going in lead in a half time. You've got to put the foot on the throat then and really choke the life out of them. I guess, but Newport are they have got that quality in the squad that it didn't show at the start of the season, but it was there. This is why we were all scratching our heads so much at the start of the season, because it weren't like it was a massively changed team, and we're like, but the quality's still there. So where is it? And it's coming through now. They're sorting it out, and yeah, this is going to be a very interesting second. I'm saying second half. I can't believe we're already halfway through this bloody season, like the beginning of December. But it's making for such an interesting season now, and it's moved Newport right up from the bottom of the league in a couple of weeks, stringing a few wins together. But as you're looking at that league now, if Pontypool have a 6-point win this weekend, they could go up to 7th from bottom, and they'd be 2 points behind the top 6. That's how close this league is. It's absolutely ridiculous this season, but this is what's so great about it as well. So yeah, Pontypool they're really going to be studying this. I think right, we've got to sort this out as well now, because people don't come here and keep winning, because people are going to start thinking, it's possible to win at Polo Park now when it shouldn't be. Yeah,
well, they hopefully have obviously started to remedy that with the arrival of Chief McIntosh. But yeah, not looking great for bottom of the table Pontypool. So that is all the games done for last week. So like, share, subscribe, do your thing. Just leave the SRC podcast on your laptop, on YouTube. Just leave it on overnight. Play it all the way through. Get the ads going. We need some extra pennies. It would be really nice to get it. We'd almost at the full pound now. We're halfway through the second season. We've almost earned a pound. We'd win really well. really, really well. Fixtures for this week. Oof. Nice couple tasty ones in there. Obviously, the Thursday night one, tomorrow night, or tonight, or yesterday, or last week, or whenever you're listening to this.
Yeah.
We'll come
Thursday
to that
night.
at the end. We'll come to that at the end because we've got team news from one team. The other one doesn't want to share it with us.
Oh no!
And I wonder whose fault that is.
He's got us kicked off here.
Kicked off the air. Oh no! Yeah, well, John apparently last time he was at tag, he spilt a drop of his cider. So no one's friends with us anymore.
Cider?
No one's
How dare you? What a hillbilly!
Yeah. Oh wow! Look at the comments. He's an Aberravon fan.
Yeah. I drink quality lagers like Foster's.
What's going on here? What's going on? He's got his white vest and his Stella in hand underneath. Okay, we'll start
I'm on the Sally de Maris, actually, with a hint of Italian sea salt, I might say.
Where did that come from? Wow.
Yeah, anyway, sorry.
So, start with Swansea and Pontypool. Why not? We just had Pontypool. Why not just really dig it in? And, I mean, they've put themselves... How many losses is that? Let me find the right bloody page one. That's 6 losses, so they're relatively 6 foot under already. Let's just put them 7 foot under. The way Swansea are going, that hell of a win down at Cap. Okay, it's not quite at St Helens like we've been repeatedly saying all season, and it's still quite hard to wrap your hand around. But Pontypool can't get a win at home as it stands, so are they going to get a win away from home? I mean, I do have some parting words from Mr. Joe Thomas, our man from Swansea, if I could ever find the damn words. So,
Joe.
Good bloke, Joe.
Joe. It's always Joe. Got to be a Joe. If it's not Joe, it's wrong. SRC stuff. Here we go. Scroll to the bottom because that's where I keep all the important stuff. So just reflecting on the Cardiff game more than anything. Overall, massively pleased. Not an easy place to go against a strong side like Cardiff. First 25-30 minutes, controlled the kicking battle. Josh Phillips and Lewis Edwards, excellent in the backfield, kept turning Cardiff, made it quite messy for ourselves. Couldn't quite convert our opportunities in the 22, the red zone. We missed a few line-outs and scrums in dangerous areas. But we didn't shy away. We kept fighting. That's something we've been priding ourselves on, making sure we fight for everything, play for 80 minutes, and we're becoming harder to beat. So we've shown that diet in buckets and spades. Credit to boys like Ellis, who came off the bench and was on the end of everything, scoring 2 lovely tries in the last 10 minutes. When we made our fight back, from 1 to 23, we all dug in and showed good fight, massively proud, and one hell of a good win for us. Nothing we haven't already said, but great to see that they recognise it and they're proud of themselves. But that is something we're seeing from Swansea this season. They are staying in games for 80 minutes. They are fighting for everything. And now they seem to have... I don't know if Lewis Edwards is a playmaker as such, but he's definitely a kicking option. Having him and Josh Phillips work in tandem is proven to be a great success. I mean, I'm not sure what the story is going to be now with Lewis and the under-20s. Will Swansea be without him, etc.? But that's for later weeks in the season. But do we see a possible upset on the cards here? John, you've got the odds for us?
Yes, I have got the odds. Sorry, I was also looking at the head-to-heads just to see what the form is in this fixture. And as it stands, since Pontypool have been back in the top flight, the SRC, the Welsh Premiership, they are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games unbeaten against Swansea. They've won the last 2 at Swansea as well. Well, obviously, if they've won all of them. So form says Pontypool are going to win this one. The bookies reckon Swansea are going to win this. They've got Swansea at 1-4, so quite heavy favourites as well. So Pontypool 5-2 with a 10-point head start on the handicap at 10-11. So it's mad to say though. Imagine if start of the season, if we'd said, come this game in December, we'll be talking about Pontypool as being the underdogs against Swansea. You would have said, "What are you smoking? And can I have some?" But that's where we are at the moment. Swansea are really playing some good stuff. They probably one of the most entertaining sides to watch in the whole league, and Pontypool are doing a lot of soul searching, head scratching. So for me, just the way Swansea go at the moment, this has got to be a home win for me. Just form dictates. If they're coming off going to Cardiff and winning for the first time there since February 2017, nearly 9 years ago since they've won in Cardiff, and they've just come off that after being so far down at half time, then they won't have any fear now of Pontypool coming down. They're going to be, well, we've just gone to the big boys and the City Slickers and turned them over. So coming down, and it's not as if it's. But then again, Pontypool are used to playing in horrible, dark, rainy places on a Thursday night, and that's their bread and butter. So that's not going to hold any fear for them either. But it's not like going to St Helens on the coast, going to Dunvant. So yeah, this is a Swansea win, and they'd probably be looking for a bonus point out of this. I would have thought, with their ability to score tries as well. So if you're Pontypool, if you come away with a point at the moment, if you come away with a point from there, then that's a point gained as opposed to a point lost, I think.
Yeah. I think we're going to be seeing the start of a few clean sweeps, unfortunately, this week. Yeah, I think any match points for Pontypool, and they'll be happy, given how the season has started really unraveling for them. Rob, over to you to really maximize this clean sweep. I don't think these few training sessions are going to be enough for Chief to have the sort of impact they're hoping. So
I don't know, maybe it's scary.
He is scary.
It depends what he threatened them with.
He can be a scary man, but he's a softy at that. We all know this. Yeah. So maybe we'll have a different discussion next week, but I just don't think there's been enough time for any sort of major impact, especially when you're going to somewhere like Swansea, where John has just said they are playing some really lovely rugby.
I don't know.
Oh yes, yes, he's going to France.
I know. This is the one that's difficult for me to call this week. Like, I'm on that sort of edge of, like, even though Chief's been involved last week, that was his sort of like, oh yeah, I'm involved, but I'm not involved enough yet moment. I don't know if Swansea have shown me enough this season of being consistent. And I think Pooler are gonna. The pitch doesn't favour Pooler, but they're used to it as well. Like John said, this, if it was at St Helens, Swansea would be used to it. They've got the conditions and stuff like that they enjoy. The pitch is it's like Pooler Park, muddy, dark, middle of nowhere. Yeah. So this is really tight, and do you know what? I can see Pontypool bouncing back, because I think the message that Chief is going to be putting over to them is those fucking points, boys. Those 9 points. The end of the game, right, last week, Harry Ford had a shot at goal to get a bonus point, and they didn't take it. They could have had a point out of that game, but they took it. They took the wrong decision. They took it quickly. And they're going, well, hang on, that's game management. That's a point. So these little things that are transpiring in, all of a sudden, you can see if he takes that shot at goal, that's 12 points he could have kicked against Newport, and they would have won the game. So it's a bit of a different story. And if Swansea had a better pack, I think I would be going Swansea. But yeah, I think Chief, who's gone from Ponty to Pool, is going to do this one.
Hey. I saw you did there.
He's been nagging to get that one sort of in.
Yeah, how long's that been in your back pocket?
He's tried it online, blah, blah. I mean, you do talk about Swan. I know we've all selected our choice now, but you talk about, Swansea's pack. Luca Giannini is freshly back. He's basically like a new shining.
In fairness, I do like that back.
Ewan Shenton, a new signing. He was with the Scarlets a few years ago. It is built now. And if they can get Jamie Cox in, obviously they had Jamie Cox the week before last, Rodri King this week, with Logan Lloyd off the bench. If they have Jamie and Rodri both playing, that front row, it is a really good pack, which is it's just so good. I missed that one.
Is Cam Jones in there as well?
No, he's with Ospreys now, isn't he?
The one
I don't know if he's going to be back.
Oh, and he played 2 good games down at Dunbar at the start of the year. It was Jacob Hopkins as well. He's moved out with the back row when Shenton coming in and Giannini coming back. But as they've got options there, but I'm just interested in that line out and that scrum. That's the key for me. I think around the park, I think Pontypool's back row, it's Scotty Matthew. Let's have a little. Dan Hill is good over the ball. Let's have a look if Mike Herbert's back fit. Does Morgan Allen even start because of how poor he played last time? But let's look at all those different players. I think the back row battle's gonna be very hotly contested. So I'm more interested in that tight 5 and seeing how the line out and scrum will go. But yeah, I'm going out on a limb here and saying Pontypool.
He's realized early in the season that he's not the one playing fast and loose to the predictions. He's got to get himself back into the race.
Martin,
because as we're looking,
calm it down, Martin.
I closed the
gap on you last week, son.
Yeah, because I was thinking with my heart, and we'll forget it. We'll forget. You still bottom. You're only 2 adrift, but you still bottom. That's all that matters.
Well, I predicted
John
a draw,
is above
apparently.
you, for Christ's sake. You did. You predicted
I got a draw
3 draws a couple of weeks. Yeah, you predicted 3 draws a couple of weeks back.
Qualifying that draw. The draw doesn't count.
Never does.
Apart from the fact that it does.
When is Swansea?
This pod was better with 2 people. The predictions might have not been better.
Yeah, I mean, we're okay with 2.5 at the minute. We do need to get that third person in, though. But yeah. So next game before we drag on too much and go on way too many tangents as we like to. RGC travelling down to Cardiff.
Ugh.
Very much like for like. Cardiff are going to be hurting, losing to Swansea, especially in the manner that they did. Obviously they put out a remarkably strong side last week, considering, all the rumours we heard about, big Cardiff needing basically to raid the entire Rags academy allocation just to make a 23 for the URC game. But turns out they didn't. So that was a nice bit of plotting by somebody, wherever that's come from. And there was only 2 changes in the 15 last week. Matty Young and Ocean Darwin Lewis, coming back in. Aled Summerhill, is there a chance of him staying for this game? Not 100%, but regardless, it's always hard to know how RGC are going to perform away from home, especially when they're coming on to a nice artificial pitch that they do like. It is that forward issue that we have seen, but I don't want to say they rolled over, because, no pack ever truly rolls over. But it seems as though the Cardiff pack just didn't do enough in that second half last week to just hold Swansea out. Because, when you're 3 scores up on your own home, that should be down to your forwards to just basically tell to shut up shop and just not let them get near you. And that just didn't happen. Whether or not that was the case of them having so many, new names onto the bench, regular players, but hadn't played for a couple of weeks. It's going to be it's an interesting one to put up. I think you kind of got to back Cardiff because the firepower they do produce, and the fact that they might get a name or 2 back down. Steph Emmanuel is one that's probably going to be, no longer needed up top, whether it was as a TR or whatever, the sort of boys that you don't see feature in the 23, but they need to be kept around because, if someone drops out, you're flying right in. So I think we're going to see a ever so slightly stronger Cardiff selection, a full 23 this week. And I think that's just going to be enough to tick them over the edge. So, John, give us the odds.
Well, first I've got the form on the screen at the moment, so I'm going to go for the form first.
So give us the form, then the odds. Okay, I'll get it right next time.
Looking at the last time RGC won at Cardiff, we've got to go all the way back to April 2018, where that was a 64-21 victory as well that day for RGC.
But RGC even a thing back then?
Yeah.
Only joking.
They've had wins since then, but up at their place, obviously. But if we go, the bookies reckon this is going to be a comfortable Cardiff win. They've got 1 pick for Cardiff, 3-1 for RGC with a plus 12-point head start for RGC on the handicap, which I think is, to be honest, quite conservative. I know RGC will like that fast track of Cardiff, but God, if they're going to have too much, and especially coming off that upset against Swansea, they're going to want to put some things right this week, I think. And, Cardiff, like we've said, can score those tries in crucial moments where they could score 2, 3, 4 tries in space of 10 minutes. And I don't know if RGC have got that same resolve then to stop that and then respond to it. So I think that's what's going to hold RGC back on this one. They've got the ability to score tries, but I think mentally the Cardiff will be able to just completely destroy their confidence. They'll get that. They'll go up here for that 10-minute space to break away, but I don't think RGC have got it to come back into the game as well then. So I can still see RGC scoring 4 tries up there because that's what they can do. But they leak so many points this year that I could see this being a 6-pointer for Cardiff personally.
Yeah, I think it's kind of hard not to see it that way, but he surprised us once already. Rob, are you going to claw back another prediction? Are you going to try it?
Nah, Cardiff are going to fucking hammer him.
What a way to just sign it off.
Yeah.
Just leave it at that. Just don't say another word.
Yeah. Just tell us what you actually think.
You know what? We're just going to clip that up. We're going to send it to John Carlard, and he's just going to play that in training tomorrow night, and it's just going to be absolutely beautiful.
Do it.
Who the fuck is Robert Rees?
I've been asking that question for a few years now. Okay, next game, and it's Quins at home to Bridgend. It's a top 3 team against, what are they, 9th? Are they? Oh, it's not, considering the first game of the season. We're in round 10. We're now starting to see the flip side of fixtures. I mean, just wow, so opening weekend of the season, Bridgend won this game 27-24, and I know we talk about you wouldn't say this at the start of the season. I know we've already said it at least once on this pod, but I doubt anyone would have predicted that Quins would have been the top 3 team and Bridgend the one in 9th after that encounter. So it's amazing to see how the progress has gone. Where are you? Got a small word off Steph Thomas. So well beaten by Ebu, who are a good team. Stayed in the game for a good spell, but fairness, they closed out the game well. Head into Bridgend, looking to bounce back quickly. They beat us first game of the season, so we know what to expect. But we've come on a long, long way since then. And we have Yori Badam and Gabriel McDonald, along with a few others, back in the mixer. So that's making me very, very happy, because it's been one thing scrolling around my mind, even though obviously we're talking professional rugby, the internationals are coming back into the regions. How many of them are going to be playing straight away? They're going to have a few minutes on the sidelines, whatever. But knowing that Yori Badam and Gabriel McDonald are going to be back in, I'm hoping one of the others is Rodri Davis. You stick, that's your 9-12, 40, and Steph Evans went off early. I would say early, went off at halftime last week against Ebu. So hopefully, whatever the issue there, as it was a temporary one or it's been resolved, that kicks that back line straight up a notch. And I do think, like you said, like Steph said, we've come a long way since that first game of the season, and I can't see this going any other way than a Quins win. And I don't even need to see the form. I don't even need to see the odds. I know Quins are winning this, and I'm gonna go out on a limb and say the bonus point is coming. Whether that sixth one is, whether the 6 pointers there, depends how the game flows, but I can't give a certainty on that. So Jonathan, it is Jonathan, and it's not just John, right? Is it John?
No, it's just John.
It's just John. Just John.
It's John. Yep.
What does the form guide tell us? And are there any odds for this game?
Oh, please tell him the odds first.
Well, I was going to, because he kept asking the odds first, so I put them ready, so I can't win, can I? Well, the bookies reckon that... No, that's not right. Who's the home team?
Quins.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, Flash score messed me up here because they've put it Bridgen Carmarthen first, but then Dragonbed have got it. I thought it was a Brewery Field that first game of the season. I was spinning me right out then.
Mate, so, let's just sort yourself out. Trust Dragon.
Blame Flash score.
Yeah, trust Dragonbet. Dragonbet, the Welsh business, more than Flash score, the people that cover international shit.
Yeah, well, Dragonbet reckon the Quins are going to win this one 1-6. Bridgen 3-1, so that's a 12-point head start. They give him Bridgen for this one. I think that sounds about right to me, but I'm going to have to go back into the form guide now because I've been looking at it completely backwards because of how they bloody put it. So when was the last time Bridgen won a Carmarthen? Well, according to this, the last time Bridgen won a Carmarthen was in September. But that was completely the other way around. So it's probably not even worth looking at that one now. We'll come back to that another time. So, yeah. Well,
no form guide.
Nah, I don't trust it. So I reckon this is... I was so high on Bridgen at the start of the season. I thought this was the season now where they'd got over that hump. But it's just gone from bad to worse, really. It's since was it 2 wins they're on? I think that first one against Quins, and then when they rocked up at our place and beat us, they haven't won since. I don't think, unless I am wrong. But I think that's right. And apart from the draw with Swansea, which should have also been a win. So, but yeah, I think Carmarthen have they'll put that behind them. I think the Evervale game from last week, they'll, especially at Carmarthen Park as well, they're going to have too much. I think they're going to be too strong. I think they're going to have too much behind. So I'm going Quins win on this. And I don't want to say a 6-pointer, but I'm kind of feeling one. So you know what? Yeah, I'll go 6 points Quins, and I can see it be one of those games where Bridgen score 3 tries, so don't end up getting anything out of it. Actually, I hope I'm wrong. I hope it's going to be a bit closer than that, and it could be, but that's what I'm feeling.
John should be deducted his draw just for saying Quins are going to get 6 points. Absolute lunacy. Martin's fallen asleep.
Fallen asleep? What? What? Nah, I gotta get the predictor board right. You know what I mean? It's hard following 2 other people and writing the names and the times down. And let me just have a quick look. Yeah, Quins have got 0 6-pointers this season. So John, you've really gone out on a limb by here.
No, but it's the feeling. I feel it in my waters.
You know
I don't think Quins will get a 6-pointer all season.
Ooh. I mean, let's see what games are left. The Quinn, I'm not going through it all. That's too much. Maybe in the cup. But no, I think if it's going to be a 6-pointer, this is a good shout for one. This is definitely a good shout for one. But is our little double R going to try and claw back another predictor point?
I
Or
don't need to call
is...
fuck all that, Martin.
No, I know.
But what I will say is both of these sides can't see a game out. We've got Quins who can't play past 60 minutes, and we've got Bridgend who can't go 80 minutes without having 20 minutes conceding a penalty a minute. So this last 20 minutes is going to be crucial, I'll be honest. I think Quins will have too much. I think up front, Bridgend just... We keep saying about how they've recruited nicely and how they're going well. But the good signings are not kicking on now. The pack isn't becoming anything better. So I think Quins will go well with there. I can't see this being a high scoring game, as you say, where you see Bridgend scoring 3 tries. But ultimately I think Bridgend will score too many points. I don't think Quins have got that firepower to get that 15 points ahead, even if they keep Bridgend back. Like in reality, we're probably talking Bridgend to get in 15 to 20 point range. Do we see Quins getting 30 to 35 points? I just don't think at the
Easy.
moment. Attack. Martin. The Quins will win. Let's just move on. Nobody wants to talk about Quins anymore. What's the next game?
Let's move on to what is undoubtedly going to be game of the week. It's got to be game of the week because it is, and it's the last game of the week as well because there's no other games to talk about after this. Llandovery at home to Newport. Now.
That one.
We saw this game at Newport Stadium at the start of the season, and for all love and money, Newport looked a very, very good team then, not to go on that 5-game losing streak, but drove us as they seem to do all the time. They just have more than enough and they just pull it out when they need it. That sounded like a really bad euphemism, but it is what it is. It is a hard one to call because, Newport 4 on the bounce. They're not 4 easy games either. You do have to include those 2 Gwent derbies in there. And, especially with one of them being Ebu and the other one being Pooler away, despite how they may be playing this season, that's just not easy to go and get the job done. So, fair dues. It's going to be a tight one. I'm going to back Drovers to just get over the line. I mean, I wouldn't pick this game. If he is all back off his ban now, I haven't counted the games. It probably is. But if Corey Baldwin is due back off his ban, I wouldn't pick this as the game to bring him back. Not to start, at least. But, this is a nice one. This would have been nice to have been televised again. We saw how good that first game is. So, very, very tasty. And I don't know what you want from me now, John. Would you just tell me some information that someone else has prepared for you?
Well, I think the televised game this week was definitely the right call because that's where the magic happens. But if we've got to talk about this one, form dictates that this is going to be a Llandovery win. Newport haven't won at Churchbank since January 22, so nearly 4 years ago. The 27-17 win.
That's in the league final as well, isn't it? So that's like an extra game as well.
The bookies reckon Llandovery have got this one. They've got a bit closer, maybe 4-11. For Llandovery, Newport 2-1. 8 points they're giving Newport on the head start for the handicap.
2 scores.
I don't know. See, if this game had happened 3 weeks ago, I'd probably be saying Llandovery all the way. But it's one of those games. If this was on my ACCA, I'd be a flip of a coin. I'd be like, oh, for God, this. I'd be looking at it thinking, I'm going to pick Llandovery, but I'm also looking at it thinking this is the one that's going to let down my ACCA. So, but I think there's going to be an absolute cracker in it, especially with that silly pitch they've got up there with the stupid lines on it, a football pitch, which It so winds me up every time I see it. It's just distracting when you watch it, like, because I keep looking at the white lines of the football pitch, thinking they're about to score, and they're going past it to this stupid yellow line that I haven't even been looking at. But
yeah, it is.
But it's gonna, but it is gonna make for a good game anyway. For that pitch with these two sides with the quality they both got. Just want to play rugby, want to spread the ball, But I think it's just home advantage is all I'm going to go for on this one, because Newport are the form team in the league, so I could easily see them going up at the moment with the form they're in and turning them over. So I'm just going to go on home form, and this is a Llandovery win. It's going to be a one-score game, one-try game, probably
Not
5.
according to the bookies.
No, but I think it's going to be a bit closer than that. So Llandovery for me. I'm not going to call a bonus point or anything for that, because it's going to be the only bonus point I think is going to be for Newport. Keeping it within 7, because it's going to be close. But it's either going to be ridiculously high scoring, 6 tries each, or it's going to be 2 each, and someone's going to win with a penalty. So. But Llandovery, home win, Llandovery.
Yeah, I've heard some strange rumours that the 7th bonus point could be won by Llandovery this week. I don't know how, but some strange rumours going around there. Rob, you're the final one for the weekend games, for the ones that matter. Newport, can they do? Of course Newport can do it. Of course they can do it, but will they do it? That is the real question.
No.
Oh, well, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you all next week.
That was it.
I think Llandovery is still, like I said, Ebervale and Llandovery are still that little bit above everybody else at the moment. And I think as good as Newport have been on this run, I don't think they're as good as Llandovery. It's in Church Bank. I just don't see Newport doing enough. I think the 2-score games is bit generous, I'll be honest. The 2-score handicap. I don't think this is a 2-score game. I think that's that's someone who's looked at the table more than anything else. But in reality, this is not a 2-score game. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if I seen some tries in this game. But yeah, Llandovery for me.
Yeah. Well, we're no doubt going to see some tries. I doubt it's going to be a 9-6 thriller. So that is the weekend's games taken care of. So we have to go back in time now to Thursday night.
Oh, right. I see what you mean now. I see what you did there. Sorry.
There's team news.
Sorry, too many vodkas and Moretti's flowing tonight.
Have given us team news.
Well, they would. They're fucking awesome.
John delayed the pod by 40 minutes just so Aberafyn's comms team didn't kick off. Absolutely practical from John.
Okay, so before we crack on, we do have our little man. That sounds wrong. From Nick White at Aberafyn. Very little to say on the Drovers game. Set piece didn't function in the second half, which caused our downfall. Probably coughed up too much possession to Llandovery, which gave them easy access. Now, it's not getting easier for us. Ebervale tomorrow with only one session in between. But we trained well last night, and we're looking forward to the challenge of having the league leaders at home under the lights. I'm really sorry. We don't even need to go through the team news.
Keep bigging us up.
Aberafyn against Smash in this. Like, if Quins couldn't do it, there's Aberafyn got no chance.
Thank you, Mark.
Absolutely no chance.
Thank you, everybody, for listening. We're the SRC podcast. That's John the Odds and 4 Marys.
Yeah, I believe you both thought that last season when Ebervale visited the tag.
Oh,
that
John,
didn't go very well either.
We had 3 games in 6 days, John.
Oh, that old chestnut.
They played it under 12s and they still should have won. Yeah, I've said my piece on this one. You two can fight it out now. I'm done. Headphones down.
Go on, John. Take us through the team news, son. You've delayed us by 40 minutes.
It's gonna take.
Well, I haven't got it, so because I'm filming. I'm on my phone. Filming this, so I can't.
Right, so for those who haven't seen it, Aberafyn's team is rubbish. John obviously got no faith in them.
Well, boys, let's be honest. Even if he wanted to read it out, it's going to take him half hour to wait through that bloody video.
Oh, no,
It's a
Martin.
joke. It's a good video. We need a graphic. Have they done a
Yes,
graphic
the
this week?
production values on that are fantastic. Buffoon Media, good shout out. Excellent job, lads, every week.
John's actually the owner. Is it good Aberravon side, I'll be honest? I'm surprised Corey Lewis-Jenkins is named on the bench, but
Really?
Oh.
yeah, they've gone Felix Gilbert, Frankie Jones.
Oh.
Other than that, I like that back line. I like Brad and Joe in midfield. I like Scott Del Nevo at fullback.
Yeah.
Big fan of his. Saul Hurley's back at hooker. I think that's always a big boost. And they've gone for a big pack, right? Like you can see the back row is all about size. Like
is Rhys Davis playing? Because I know he went off injured last week. Is he in the squad?
Hang on a minute now. So I'll go. So you got Jordan Walters, Sal Hurley, Geraint James up front. I think he doesn't get any stronger than that.
Mm-hmm.
You've got Ross Fox and Shea Smallman in the second row.
Or Lewis Marsh on the bench then?
Charlie Herdman, James Clegg, and Ashton Evans is the back row. Again, all
no
guys.
No Gwilym Evans.
No.
He's going to be with the Ospreys probably. Lost him last week.
I've been bigging up Lewis Marsh, and he's on the bench. Freddie Chapman's on the bench. It's a young bench. Morgan James. Who's you looking for? Sorry, John. I've forgotten already.
No, it was Rhys Thomas in the back row, but yeah, James Clegg is playing, so he came on for Rhys last week, so he must have been a bad injury. Yeah.
You got Jaden Gray, your replacement scrum half. He's still a baby himself. I think he had his competitive debut last week.
That is a young bench, isn't it?
Don't get me wrong. I like Corey Lewis-Jenkins and Connor Moyes. Not too sure I like them as replacements. I know Connor's been trying to play more centre. I mean, Cameron Lovey's, I can understand I can understand where you've gone. You've gone for some, real big impact in Lewis-Jenkins and Connor Moyes off the bench, and you've gone for a bit of pace and probably that bit of exuberance in Jaden Gray, for your backline replacements. But I think the game's going to be gone by the time they have any impact. To be honest,
Thank you, Martin.
I don't mean it. I hate doing this. I hate getting these responses. You
just hate agreeing with Rob.
I mean, who doesn't? To be fair, come on. I mean, I don't think there's probably not a single club in this league that haven't had an issue with Rob at some point or time, and that includes Ebbw Vale. I mean, let's be honest here. But yeah, if you manage to get it done, it's going to be one hell of an achievement. Because, quite frankly, I don't think anyone really deserves to beat Ebbw Vale as it stands. And, that's just sad for me to bloody say.
Oh, that's right. It'll make it even sweeter when Aberravon do emerge victorious then.
Yeah, about 16 years.
He said that in such a way that he might have just convinced me. Not quite.
So did you make your pick then, Rob?
Yeah. I've gone Ebbw Vale. Ebbw Vale.
Well, Ebbw Vale haven't won at the Tags for over 3 years. We're going back to November 2022, a 24-17 win. Aberravon won the last game between these two at the Tag. And lately, it used to be an Achilles heel of ours and a jinx, but lately, last couple of seasons, these Thursday night lights under the watchful eye of the S4C cameras have been actually working out pretty well for us. It used to be if we were on telly, that'd be it. But it's really worked out well for us lately, being the Thursday night live game, especially at home and away, but especially at home. What do the bookies reckon? Well, obviously, but they've got Ebbw Vale as favourites. Aberravon a 5-2.
What about a 50-point head start?
Ebbw Vale 1-4, with Aberravon having a 10-point head start on this one. And I'm just going to be blind biased and optimistic, and I'm going blood and blacks all the way on this one. Wizards home win, and it's going to be a bonus point as well, I think, only because you're going to have to score 4 tries. I think if you're going to beat Ebbw Vale, you're going to have to score points against them. So if it's going to be a win, then it's going to have to be a bonus point win, because Evervale are going to score points as well. So it's going to be one of them stupid last 2 minutes of just not wanting to watch the game, as it usually is with Aberafan, and hoping we hang on. But I think I do. I think this happened last season. Evervale came down full of form. We were struggling. Evervale came down and we beat them at home, and it was one of the performances of the season. It was brilliant. So why the hell not? I'm going to go for Aberafan win on this one. There's going to be a bonus point, but it could, it's probably going to be 2 losing bonus points for Evervale in that case, because they're probably going to score 4 tries at least. So, but it's going to be a great game. Thursday nights under the lights at Aberafan is all on the telly is always an entertaining game. That's one thing. That's one thing they can always sell with Aberafan is if the cameras are down there on a Thursday, it's going to be an entertaining game, and you're going to be on the edge of your seat watching it. So everybody tune in or go to the game. Well, it's me saying that, and I won't be. But anyway.
Now, do you know what I think?
Typical.
I think the bookies of some this
It's not my fault. We've got a last-minute babysitter, me and the missus, for tomorrow, and it's the only one we can get in before Christmas where we can actually go out for a night out together. So we've just got to make. But we're going to Richard Ibbot's bar and grill down the Aberafan beachfront, Sand Rabbit. And he always prioritises rugby. So I'm hoping that there'll be a telly on somewhere with the Aberafan game on.
Do you know what? I think that the bookies have summed this game up quite nicely with a 10-point gap, because as much as, that's why you would expect Evervale to be named as the favourites in this game. But given it was a 6-pointer when it was played up at Evervale, and the difference in performances and sort of the points between the sides since, I think that there's a lot of respect there about just how good a side Aberafan can be. They've beaten Newports already this season down at Tag. John's alluded to it. There's not the greatest history for Evervale there, either against Aberafan or neutral games. So there's a lot to this. I think there's a couple of changes in the Evervale squad. Obviously, they've gone from playing the 2-10s to moving Evan to fly half. Morgan Richards starts at fullback. Dorian just rotates onto the bench. And I've got a feeling that's completely down to space. I think Tag's a slightly bigger pitch than Evervale, and they'd be looking to target that open space.
Big pitch. Which
they did against Quins to an extent. Obviously, Evan was doing it from fullback. But it's interesting to see how that goes. The only other changes, I think I called it in the chat the other day about Sean Parry coming back. He was obviously just rested last week because they rest him when he comes back off international period, which they did earlier in the season. And it was the Cardiff game, I think, where Ben Main was named to start the first game after Canada's tests. So that's not a shock. And Joe Franchi comes in to start, and Ian Morris goes to the bench, which, I mean, Pumpy took a knock last week after going off, scored his 13th try. But again, I think this is all about just solidifying the set piece. You've got to have a good set piece against Aberafan. Is one of those. It doesn't matter what Aberafan side you play. You've got to have a good set piece, and I think they're starting to settle as well. I think it'd be interesting to see how a few of the enforced changes makes it against Aberafan, but I don't know what it is, whether it's a game plan. I don't think it's because of the quality of opposition, but Aberafan and Evervale always seem to play a good game against each other. I think they're naturally inclined to play that fast physical game, a lot of ball carrying. I think it's going to really, really integrate the likes of Ashton Evans and Ryan Jenkins. That battle at 8 is going to be absolutely explosive. I think Ashton's been one of the best 8s of the season so far. Ryan back last week, had a good game, back from injury. So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. So I'm disappointed I can't get down it, to be honest, after work. But yeah, it's going to be an enjoyable game of rugby. And again, I think this is going to continue the trend of every game of rugby that's been on TV this season has been at least a good game of rugby, if not an absolutely fantastic or great affair. So yeah, I think this is superb.
Happy days. So that winds us down, whatever one it is, for this week. And what a way to finish. Boom. John, nice to have you back. Rob, good as always.
Nice to be back.
if you've made it this far, we're probably an hour 15, hour 20, something like that in. So well done to you.
Well done to you.
Must have one hell of a long commute to work. Really, really bad. So, sympathies. As always, like, share, subscribe, do your thing, comment, hype, if that's still a thing on YouTube. I've never seen it, but I'm still being told to hype. Don't know why. Yeah, we'll do it all again next week, and yeah, maybe someone will have clawed their way back down the Predictor League, as he likes to do to himself. But yeah, see you then.
Yep.
Do your thing, John.
Super.
No, bet you need that weren't enough. Do a real one. Okay, so me and Rob are gonna go quiet. We're gonna go say so. Good night, everybody. We love you. Good morning, good afternoon, whatever. Rob, why did you just put a sticky finger on the screen? Look. Now, John, 3, 2, 1.
Super.
That was shit.
That's
super.
That should be our ringtone.
It's late. I'm up at a 5. Give me a break.
All right, guys. Catch you all next week.
Cheers,
See you
boys.
again.
Ta-da.
Ta-da. Super.